listening to the legendary podcaster, the one, the only, T-Jam D. Your personal favorite, and the show you've been waiting for. Probably Offensive.
Welcome to Probably Offensive. I am your host, Anthony Scott Dover. Today we are without my broadcasting partner, Mr. T. Crow. But as I say every time that I do a show without T. Crow, he'll be back. We'll be doing the shows again soon. So let me go ahead with what we got today. It's been a while. It's been a minute. And I know every time I do a podcast, I keep saying that I'm going to try to do a podcast every week. And I keep failing to do a podcast every week. It's only an hour. And there's so much going on in the world. But there's things going on in my life. I don't want to make excuses to why I can't seem to crank out one of these shows every week, and I'm so behind on what's going on. So some of the stuff that I mentioned did not just happen yesterday. So bear with me. We'll at some point start being more consistent, as I have promised in the past. But we'll get to it though. I used to always start these shows off with COVID information, and that's something that seems to be something to argue about. But we're so far into the pandemic. I really did think that it'd be over by now, that we'd be past the pandemic. Not that COVID would be eradicated. I just thought that we as a society would be past it. They'd have a vaccine, which they do have a vaccine, but I thought that the vaccine would be something that 99% of the people, even though I myself have not taken the vaccine, have not received it. I was going to receive the vaccine. Information came to light that you could still get COVID. You can still pass COVID. You just won't have symptoms of COVID. And I thought, well, I don't know if I've had COVID since we've been in this pandemic. Actually, I've never been tested for COVID because I haven't had symptoms. If I had had symptoms, I would have gotten tested, but I haven't had any symptoms, so I've chosen not to get tested. I mean, what's the point of getting tested when you're not having any symptoms? But I thought for everyone else who's having trouble with COVID, once they had a vaccine, that people would get the vaccine and go on about their business. I didn't know I didn't foresee this whole argument about the vaccine and whether to take the vaccine, whether not to get the vaccine, whether the vaccine is some type of something nefarious going on by the government to kill everybody. For those of you who believe that there's something that makes me laugh. For those of you who believe there's something nefarious going on, that the government is using the vaccine. The government and Bill Gates are using the vaccine to kill everybody. That's ridiculously nonsensical. Oh my God. Whenever I say that out loud, it makes me laugh. I just can't help it because it's so ridiculous. What we're experiencing, what we are experiencing here in our society is the loss of sanity on a much larger scale than I ever anticipated. You see, I used to argue with people, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I used to argue with people who were conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theorists used to be something for me to make fun of. People who, and I'm not talking about the JFK conspiracy that he was not shot by the guy in the book depository. That it was a government conspiracy, and there was another shooter on the grassy knoll. I'm not talking about that. That's mostly a conspiracy that most people, including myself, believe to be true. But that is one of the only conspiracies that I believe to be true. I haven't heard a legitimate, and that happened before I was born. I want to let you know that, I'm not that old. So, that happened before I was born. The whole JFK conspiracy. And that's the only conspiracy that I tend to believe. The most 99. If there's another conspiracy besides the JFK conspiracy that I believe, I don't remember what that is right now, so I can't mention it. But the point is, we have a rash of individuals, millions of individuals. This is spreading worse than COVID, and that is people who are not 100% sane. Okay? So, I myself am 100. Excuse me. I myself am 100% sane. So, usually, when I'm arguing with someone, that person is usually either stupid. There's a lot of stupid people out there, and they don't know it or can't admit it. Or it's an intelligent person who's not 100% sane. And that's most of the time what has happened, is that you get a lot of intelligent people who are not 100% sane, and they're believing in something that's nonsensical. Okay, it happens a lot. And it's happened more often than not in our society. Right now, it's probably the number one issue that most people are not aware of. Because you could, and probably are, one of the people who are arguing with people about what's going on in our society who are not 100% sane. If you are passionate about something stupid, something that's not true, of course you're not going to know it's not true because you believe it is. And I just use as an example people who believe the earth is flat. The earth is not flat, it's round. But there are some people who are not idiots, not dummies, who will swear up and down. They'll do internet research, but they'll get this information from conspiracy theory websites. And that's the thing. You get a lot of conspiracy theory websites, and even websites like the CDC. I was told by a guy who I grew up with, we were friends, to go to the CDC website and look things up. He was talking about looking up stuff for COVID. Right now I'm talking about the nonsensical theory that the earth is flat. The earth is not flat. The earth is round. You can see when you look in the sky in the daytime. A lot of times you still can see the moon in the daytime. Some people say you can't see the moon in the daytime. Yeah, you can sometimes. It depends on where you are and if it's cloudy or not, or what have you. What time of day it is, and all these things. Sometimes you can actually see the moon in the daytime. And this is easier for you to see when you look at the moon, if you can see it. Even if you see the moon when it's night and it's lit up. First off, the moon doesn't have its own light. There's no light on the moon. So the only way the moon is lit, the only way you can see the moon, is because the sun is shining on it. But if you look at the moon, you can tell the moon is round. You shouldn't look at the sun with bare eyes like the evil dummy did. But you should not look at the sun, but you can see when you do look at the sun that the sun is round. So, to those of you who are flat earthers, my question is, if the moon is round and the sun is round, what makes you think the earth is flat? And you can tell the moon is round like a ball. And it's like a perfect sphere. It's not like an oblong, misshapen afro or something. You can look at the moon from here. Even though only half of it may be lit up, you can still tell that the moon is round. And we'll get into whether we've ever been to the moon. My broadcasting partner seems to feel like we've never been to the moon. I've never actually taken that argument seriously until as of late. So now he's going to force me to do some research and find out what I can about whether we've actually, the U.S. have actually, through NASA, has actually gone to the moon. I don't know. Okay, I always believe that we have gone to the moon, but I don't know it for a fact. Okay, that was supposed to have happened in 1968, I do believe. That's before I was born as well. So, my point is this, for those people who believe, and this is about conspiracies. This is about people who believe that the earth is flat. You believe the earth is flat, even though you can see that the sun is round, even though I'm advising you, don't just stare at the sun like the evil dummy did. You can stare at the moon and figure it out. You can see that the moon is round, but you think the earth is flat. Everything else is round in the sky, I guess, except the earth. Apparently, ice walls. Some people say it was mountains all around the earth that holds the water in, and some people say it's ice walls. That sounds like a song that Cardi B would make. Ice walls, some double meaning or something. Yeah, there's no ice walls around the earth. That's nonsensical. That is complete ridiculousness. You're making a fool out of yourself if you believe that the earth